A few minutes ago, I took a video of some sunflowers that had begun to fade into the sunset. This is not one of them. This is one that I had in my studio from a couple of days ago when I painted it. Its face was all perked up and bright and good morning, Merry Sunshine. But today it is withered, dust to dust, ashes to ashes. Uh, in the Looking at Lit Club, I will talk over and over and over again about the contrast, how writers have contrasted youth and the elderly. I'll begin that in August, especially when we talk about Tuck Everlasting that begins in August. That is the beginning of becoming older. In terms of the seasons, we see that the spring is the newborn baby. Wilbur in Charlotte's Web begins life as a baby. It's April. In fact, look on my YouTube channel, Jacki Kellum, April Come She Will. That's Simon and Garfunkel's interpretation of the seasons of life, and I've done a little video thing to go with that. But singers, musicians, filmmakers, writers, artists, we all make contrasts between youth and the elderly. When I was in the 10th grade, my English teacher introduced me to William Blake, who wrote the Songs of Innocence and the Songs of Experience. And I became just absolutely infatuated with William Blake, with that part of his writing. He gets pretty weird later. But so that's who I wrote my master's thesis, my first master's thesis on in college. But William Blake he took it even farther. He was talking, and he does kind of spurn experience, which is the older people, because he sees how they've hardened. He sees how the youth are fresh, they're full of hope and vitality, but experience hardens people. In Charlotte's Web, we see that. We see the contrast of Mr. Arable and Fern. Fern wants to save Wilbur, but Mr. Arable only sees the trouble that could lie ahead because he's a runt. He's a runt. He'll take food that the other pigs need. He will be a problem, and he says, just kill that sucker. That's experience. But anyway, I'm in my studio. I'm cleaning everything, and I'm coming across picture book. I love picture books, but I've loved this one for a long time. Here Comes Grandma. This is a different look at the elderly. Grandma is not withered. By Janet Lord. The illustrations, Julie Pashkis, I'm not really sure, but this is a fabulous book, and I'm going to share it with you. The designs. That's not really a painting. That's a design. Both are good. One is not bad, and one's, in fact, I do some design. Here Comes Grandma by Janet Lord, illustrated by Julie Pashkis. I bought this one used. I buy a lot of used books. I just love books. I don't care if they're used or not. Okay, I'm gonna let you read the pictures. Here comes Grandma. I'm coming to see you. I'll put on my boots and walk a long way to see you. I'll pedal my bicycle and zip over the hills to see you, because here comes Grandma. I'll drive a car and vroom down the road to see you. because here comes Grandma. I'll hop on a train and ride the rails to see you. Here comes Grandma. I'll slip on my skis and whoosh down the mountain to see you. And I'll fly a plane and zoom through the clouds to see you. We'll whirl and twirl and laugh and sing, and I'll give you a great big hug. I guess that's the end of it. That's kind of the way people take my book. They're like, well, what's next? But sometimes that's enough. People, don't ask for everything. But anyway, this is brilliant. And I'll tell you, it's talking about my song, the donkey song. Janet Laura did not illustrate this. And I don't know whether she saw that dog as being part of the story or not. But that dog is in every picture. That dog. So it's not just Grandma coming. It's also the dog coming. And that I'll have to do another. I don't have my book with me right this second, but in the donkey song, let me see if I see it anywhere close. Of course not. That's my book. I'm reading everybody else's book. In the donkey song, the brilliant illustrator Sidney Hansen. I didn't write one thing about a mouse in the text of my story. The brilliant illustrator Sidney Hansen saw that we needed another character to interact with that donkey, and she added the mouse, which is one of my. I think I love it more than I do the donkey in the illustrations. It takes two people or more to make a book. In fact, I say it takes a village to make a picture book. It took Frances Gilbert to give me a chance. An old lady who hadn't published anything yet. But it takes at least the writer and the illustrator, wonderful, but they're the same person, that if the writer also illustrates, he'll know what he meant. But Sidney Hansen could not have better interpreted my text than I did, and she had the ability to paint it the way it needed to be painted. So, rah-rah for the illustrator, rah-rah for the old lady here who is no old lady, and rah-rah for picture books that allow us to see both sides of the coin.